Let's start with our first news. UFC bantamweight star Sean "Sugar" O'Malley has never shied away from bold statements, but his most recent claim has taken the MMA world by surprise. In a recent discussion, O'Malley praised reigning lightweight champion Ilia Topuria, hailing him as the greatest fighter of all time, surpassing even the legendary Jon Jones. According to O'Malley, Topuria's dominance inside the Octagon has already placed him at the pinnacle of the sport's pound-for-pound rankings. What makes the statement even more shocking is the history between the two fighters. At one point, it seemed inevitable that O'Malley and Topuria would eventually collide in the UFC. During O'Malley's reign as bantamweight champion, there was serious talk of him moving up to featherweight, where Topuria was quickly rising through the ranks. A clash between the flashy striker and the Georgian powerhouse appeared destined to happen. However, despite that long-standing rivalry, O'Malley's opinion of Topuria has shifted dramatically. Instead of viewing him as a potential opponent or threat, he now sees Topuria as a fighter in a class of his own. Speaking candidly, O'Malley declared, "Ilia is pound for pound the greatest fighter to ever walk this earth. The greatest fighter ever, even over Jon Jones. I think so, man. Just look at who he's beaten. His last 3 fights weren't just wins, they were devastating knockouts." O'Malley specifically pointed to Topuria's extraordinary streak of finishes against some of the sport's most respected names. In back-to-back fights, Topuria knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira, 3 icons of the featherweight and lightweight divisions. These weren't cautious, drawn-out decisions or wrestling-heavy performances. Instead, Topuria displayed a level of striking precision and finishing ability that left no doubt about the outcomes. As O'Malley emphasized, Topuria isn't simply edging out victories by holding opponents down or eking out scorecard wins. He's dismantling champions and legends in the most definitive way possible, by knocking them out cold. In O'Malley's eyes, that is the hallmark of true greatness. Think about it, O'Malley continued. These are guys who have been at the top of the sport for years. Volkanovski, Holloway, Oliveira. They're as tough and skilled as anyone in the history of MMA. And yet, they couldn't stand with Ilia. They couldn't survive his power, his timing, and his precision. He didn't just beat them, he finished them in spectacular fashion. That's why I say he's already greater than Jon Jones. The comparison to Jon Jones is what makes O'Malley's statement so controversial. Widely considered the greatest MMA fighter of all time, Jones' dominance at light heavyweight is unmatched, and his legacy includes victories over multiple generations of elite opponents. However, O'Malley argues that Topuria's resume, especially given the emphatic nature of his recent wins, already eclipses that of Jones. While some may dismiss O'Malley's comments as trolling or attention-seeking, his admiration for Topuria seems genuine. For a fighter who once viewed Topuria as a potential rival, it is a significant shift in tone. Perhaps O'Malley sees in Topuria the same qualities that fans and analysts have begun to acknowledge, a rare combination of technical brilliance, knockout power, and unshakable confidence. Whether or not Ilia Topuria truly deserves the GOAT label this early in his career is still a matter of debate, but one thing is certain: when even fighters of O'Malley's caliber are publicly declaring you the best ever, your legacy is already being written in the history books. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. With just days remaining before UFC 320, where 2 blockbuster title fights are expected to electrify the Octagon, bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili has added another layer of intrigue to his upcoming defense. In a candid interview with Satanta Sports Georgia, the reigning champion admitted that he has been battling illness during fight week. Despite feeling under the weather, Dvalishvili insists that nothing will stop him from defending his belt against top contender Corey Sandhagen. The revelation has stirred both excitement and concern across the MMA community. Known for his relentless cardio and unmatched pace, Dvalishvili's conditioning is considered his greatest weapon. Any compromise in his health could significantly alter the dynamics of the fight. Fans and analysts are now questioning whether the champion's iron will can withstand the physical toll of sickness on top of a grueling weight cut. Dvalishvili, however, downplayed the situation. "Tomorrow my weight cut begins. This used to happen to me in the early days, and even today I feel a bit sick," he explained. "It's nothing I can't push through, but my immune system is slightly compromised. It doesn't bother me though. In fact, it gives me even more motivation to fight and overcome adversity." While acknowledging the challenge, the champion quickly shifted his focus to Sandhagen. Sandhagen, praising him as a worthy opponent while issuing a warning. "Corey is a good guy. He's been working hard. He's coming with the intent to knock me out, break my arm, take my belt, and bring it back to his state. But I'm putting in the work to give my all and beat him. My striking has gotten much better as well. Corey needs to be careful." This comment is particularly significant because Dvalishvili's striking has often been seen as the one area where he lags behind elite bantamweights. Famous for his grinding wrestling and endless cardio, Merab has built a reputation as a suffocating pressure fighter who breaks opponents with volume rather than knockout power. But now, he insists that fans will see a more dangerous version of himself. After his recent submission victory over Sean O'Malley, Dvalishvili says his next goal is to add highlight reel knockouts to his resume. Sandhagen, one of the most technically polished strikers in the division, has already issued a warning of his own. He cautions Merab not to get too comfortable standing and trading shots, promising instead to deliver a decisive end to the champion's reign. Their mutual respect has kept trash talk to a minimum, but the competitive fire between them is undeniable. Interestingly, Dvalishvili even reflected on their sportsmanship, pointing out how their rivalry has been free of hostility. "Corey is a good guy and a truly respectable person. I like him. We haven't felt the need to trash talk or disrespect each other online. Aside from some friendly jabs, like that one time he made fun of my dancing. I don't even know how to dance. I just try to imitate Georgian dancing. Somehow these Americans believe I'm some kind of skilled dancer," he joked with a laugh. What started as lighthearted banter has now evolved into one of the most highly anticipated showdowns of the year. With the champion admitting to being less than 100%, the stakes have become even higher. Will Merab's grit, cardio, and improved striking be enough to retain his title, or will Sandhagen seize the moment to dethrone a compromised champion? One thing is clear, UFC 320 just became even more unpredictable. The countdown is on, and the MMA world is watching closely as tension continues to build toward fight night. Move on to another news. As UFC 320 approaches, the co-main event between Corey Sandhagen and bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing matchups of the year. While many fans and analysts have counted Sandhagen out due to Dvalishvili's relentless pace and legendary cardio, the challenger is brimming with confidence. Speaking ahead of the fight, Sandhagen boldly declared that there is no way Merab can beat him, citing his unique skill set and ability to neutralize the champion's strengths. For years, Dvalishvili has been regarded as one of the most durable and relentless fighters in the UFC. His ability to push an insane pace for 5 rounds, chain wrestling attempts, and wear down even elite opponents has earned him a reputation as the most exhausting puzzle in the bantamweight division. But Sandhagen insists he is different, and that he won't fall victim to the same blueprint that has broken so many others. He's beaten a lot of really good guys, so he knows how to deal with a bunch of different styles, Sandhagen acknowledged. But the guys he's gotten really popular off beating are nothing like me. That's the difference. I don't think he beats me the way he's beaten them. Sandhagen went further, breaking down Dvalishvili's past victories and why they don't concern him. He noted that Merab's grinding style often depends on opponents fading under his pressure. He beat Umar because Umar got way too tired. I don't get tired. He beat Ali because Ali was tentative, looking for one big shot, and slow to get up. That's not me either. When I get taken down, I pop right back up immediately, and I've proven that against Umar, who, honestly, I think is as good, if not better, of a grappler than Merab is. That confidence in his own durability and endurance is key. Sandhagen emphasized that cardio has never been a weakness for him, and he fully intends to match Merab's pace. I don't get out-wrestled, and no one has ever beaten me by tiring me out and grinding me down. That's Merab's only way of winning, and it won't work against me, he declared. Another element adding intrigue is the difference in strategy between Merab and his team. Reports suggest that while Dvalishvili's coaches have urged him to lean on his wrestling-heavy style, the champion himself is eager to showcase his improved striking. Merab has even claimed that his fight with Sandhagen will be 90% kickboxing. To Sandhagen, that sounds like an open invitation to exploit the Georgian's weaknesses. Known as one of the slickest and most creative strikers in the bantamweight division, Sandhagen relishes the idea of a stand-up battle. He says he wants to strike more. Good, Sandhagen said with confidence. That's where I thrive. If he tries to play my game, it's going to end badly for him. Sandhagen also dismissed the greatest bantamweight of all time hype that has begun to surround Dvalishvili following his title win and dominant run. Instead, he believes UFC 320 is his moment to show that he is the fighter with the more complete complete game, sharper skills, and stronger will. For fans, the matchup has suddenly become one of the most unpredictable and high-stakes fights in the division. Will Merab's smothering pace once again overwhelm his opponent, or will Sandhagen prove he's the one fighter who can break the cycle and dismantle the champion's game plan? Sandhagen leaves no room for doubt. "I'm not intimidated by his past wins. I'm a completely different fighter with a completely different set of skills. Merab's way of winning doesn't work on me, and that's why he won't beat me." As fight night looms, one thing is certain: this isn't just another bantamweight title fight. It's a collision of styles, strategies, and wills, and both men are convinced they have the formula for victory. Move on to another news. Former UFC interim lightweight champion Dustin Poirier may have retired from MMA, but he continues to make headlines both for his sharp fight analysis and his willingness to entertain one last special bout. Recently, Poirier took to social media to address fan questions about his future, while also offering a bold prediction for the highly anticipated showdown between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. On X, formerly Twitter, Poirier responded to speculation about whether fans might ever see him inside the cage again. His answer was clear: he is retired from mixed martial arts. However, the Diamond admitted that there is one exception that could lure him back into combat sports: a boxing match against Nate Diaz. "Zuffa boxing, 12 rounds, me and Nathaniel. I do it. Only one more fight I take," Poirier wrote in response to a fan. When another user replied with "Here we go," Poirier doubled down on his stance: "We not even going anywhere, but someone asked me. I'm retired. I'm done. But Nate is one that got away." The idea of Poirier versus Diaz in boxing immediately sparked conversation among fans. Both fighters are fan favorites, both have striking heavy styles, and both have teased boxing crossovers in the past. Diaz, of course, has already ventured into the boxing world with his fights against Jake Paul and Jorge Masvidal, while Poirier has long hinted at testing his hands under pure boxing rules. Though Poirier insists he is retired, the matchup remains one of those what-if scenarios that excites the MMA community. Alongside this revelation, Poirier also gave his prediction for Alex Pereira's upcoming fight with Magomed Ankalaev, a rematch that has the MMA world buzzing. Poirier believes Pereira will not just win, he will finish Ankalaev by KO or TKO. "I just think he's danced with this guy before," Poirier explained. "He wants that title back, and he wants to win. He wants revenge, and he wants to show that wasn't him in the last fight. There's a lot of reasons why, and he's too dangerous of a fighter to go in there and not find that shot this fight. I think it's going to be a KO or TKO." Pereira, the former two-division UFC champion and one of the most feared strikers in the sport, is known for his devastating knockout power. Ankalaev, meanwhile, has built a reputation as a tactical, durable fighter with strong grappling and striking defense. Their rematch carries high stakes, as both men are jockeying for position in one of the UFC's most competitive divisions. For Poirier, who has shared the cage with some of the greatest strikers in the sport, his confidence in Pereira speaks volumes. He sees Pereira's hunger for redemption as a major factor, combined with his lethal finishing ability. It makes him too dangerous to be denied a decisive victory this time around. Between speculation about a dream boxing clash with Nate Diaz and his bold prediction for Pereira's revenge, Dustin Poirier may be retired, but his voice remains as influential in combat sports as ever. Fans will be watching closely to see if the Diamond truly stays retired, or if the lure of a blockbuster boxing showdown eventually pulls him back into the spotlight. Move on to another news. Former UFC interim lightweight champion Dustin "The Diamond" Poirier has never been shy about giving his honest take on the sport. Recently, he appeared on the Bonfire podcast with Mike Bone, where the conversation turned to rising star Paddy Pimblett and his future in the lightweight title picture. Pimblett, fresh off his high-profile victory over Michael Chandler, has generated massive buzz as one of the UFC's fastest rising personalities. His charisma, fan-friendly style, and knack for staying in the headlines have fueled talk that he could be next in line for a championship opportunity. But Poirier isn't convinced just yet. While giving Pimblett respect for what he has accomplished, Poirier made it clear that he believes the young contender still needs one more big win before earning a shot at UFC gold. "Respect to Paddy and everything he's done," Poirier said, "but I don't think a win over Michael Chandler, on the streak that Chandler's on and the way his fights have been going, deserves a title shot right away. I know he's exciting and people are talking about him, but I'd like to see him fight one more top 5 guy, one more tough test. Then we could talk about title fights for him. Right now, I think it's a little rushed if we're talking about him against someone like Ilya." Poirier's comments highlight the difficult balance balance between performance and star power in modern MMA. While Pimblett is undeniably one of the most marketable fighters in the UFC, the question remains whether his resume in the Octagon matches the hype. A victory over Chandler certainly adds credibility, but Poirier pointed out that Chandler has struggled with consistency in recent years. His all-action style makes him a fan favorite, but it has also left him vulnerable to defeats against the elite of the division. For Poirier, the key to legitimizing Pimblett as a true title contender lies in testing him against another elite lightweight. Facing a top-5 opponent would, in Poirier's eyes, provide the proof that Pimblett can compete with the very best before being catapulted into a championship fight. Pimblett himself has been outspoken about his ambitions, frequently mentioning title aspirations and calling out big names in the division. His rise has drawn comparisons to Conor McGregor, another brash European fighter who quickly captured the imagination of fans worldwide. But unlike McGregor, whose rapid ascent was fueled by a string of decisive wins over top-ranked contenders, Pimblett's path has been more carefully managed, with his most recent win being the first true step into the upper echelon of the lightweight division. For Poirier, the logic is simple: the UFC should not rush a prospect, no matter how popular, into a title fight prematurely. He's good, and he's got people talking, Poirier said, but let him get that one more big win. Then, sure, we can talk about titles. As UFC fans debate the issue, the spotlight on Pimblett only grows brighter. Will the UFC capitalize on his momentum and push him into a championship fight sooner rather than later? Or will they follow Poirier's advice and give the baddie one more major test before he takes his shot at the belt? One thing is certain, with Pimblett's star power and Poirier's respected voice adding to the conversation, the future of the lightweight division is looking more intriguing than ever. Move on to another news. Diego Lopes has once again put himself in the spotlight by persistently calling out former featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. Fresh off an electrifying win over John Silva, Lopes is riding a wave of momentum and doesn't seem content with just climbing the rankings. Instead, he is laser-focused on securing a rematch with one of the most respected fighters in UFC history. In his recent appearance on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, Lopes made it clear that Volkanovski is the fight he wants next. Despite speculation that fighters like Lauren Murphy or other top contenders may be next in line, Lopes has doubled down on his campaign to face Volkanovski. With unshakable confidence, Lopes told Helwani, "I think there's a real chance I get that fight. People love to watch me, whether I win or lose. The crowd is invested when I step into the octagon. In the top 5 right now, the most exciting fight for Volkanovski is me." Lopes went even further by sending a direct message to Volkanovski himself, saying, "Volk, let's do this again. I'm a better fighter than I was the last time. I've grown, I've improved, and I've been waiting for this rematch. The fans want it, and I'm ready to give them a show." His statement reflects not only his hunger but also his belief that he has evolved since their first meeting. Many fans and analysts agree that Lopes has showcased significant improvements, particularly in his striking, composure, and ability to adapt mid-fight. However, the Brazilian fighter's post-fight celebration also went viral for an unusual reason. Backstage, immediately after his hard-fought victory over John Silva, Lopes was captured projectile vomiting during an interview. Addressing the incident, he explained it with a laugh. "The adrenaline was crazy, man. I was so happy after the fight. When I walked backstage, I just wanted Gatorade, Coke, or even water. I drank it way too fast, and then, boom, that's what happened." The clip quickly spread online, but Lopes handled it with humor, further endearing himself to fans. Despite the victory, Lopes remained highly critical of his own performance, showing the mindset of a perfectionist. He admitted, "Like a coach, I know I wasn't 100% happy with what I did in there. I know I can be better. But like a fighter, man, I'm happy. A win is a win, and I showed that I'm dangerous in this division." This duality, being both his own harshest critic and his biggest motivator, demonstrates the maturity of a fighter who is serious about reaching championship levels. As for Volkanovski, the Australian hasn't officially announced his next opponent, but footage recently surfaced of him training with Mauricio Hufi at Essence Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The former champ was seen sharpening both his striking and grappling skills, signaling that he's preparing for whatever challenge comes his way. If Lopes continues to perform at this level, his relentless call-outs and undeniable fan appeal may very well earn him the opportunity he craves: a second shot at Alexander Volkanovski, a fight that could shake up the entire featherweight division.